Alright guys, welcome back to our progress video from 2021. Before we get into progress, I had to show you this. So, Ben found these sitting on a shelf. They haven't been running who knows how long. I'm going to have Will look at them and we'll see if we can get these things brought back to life. But a couple of AHME units. Note the super detailing and the weathering up top. A and B. And then that's not one of them. That's one of Nolan's engines, cotton belt. Then if we jump over here, we've got an F3 with the MU cables. And then we come down here. These are blue box, and this is the best part. He's already hauled out the markers. And he's got the marker lights. He's got the headlight. Both of them. He's put the lenses in. He put the grab irons on the roof. On the nose. MU cables, and dang it, you faced the side that has the speed record cable towards the cliff. I don't know if you guys can see it, but you can put speed record cable on there. Not too much, not any weathering up top on these, but and diaphragms. Have a look at that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Hey, how's it going?
So at some point, I'm going to pay Ben for most or some of these, all of these. And yeah, I'll get DCC in them, I'll upgrade them, we'll bring these things back to life. So, say howdy.
Who am I saying hi to?
YouTube.
YouTube. Wow. Hi, YouTube.
Okay. All right. We also got a couple other things. A couple engines I bought from Nolan and one from NARM. I brought them up. So, yeah, we'll have a look at those and then get back to the layout. All right, guys, a little in progress snippet. So we've been pecking away a few things. I did finally go ahead and get around to tearing the car shop track up. The turnout right here was soldered to this one. It was pretty mangled up. And when I was trying to get up, we were trying to do it gently, but this outer stock rail on there still popped up. So, you know, go figure. It's like, what do you do about it? But went ahead and pulled up the old Micro Engineering Flex Track, relayed this. So it looks straighter than it did by a fair bit. But did that, went ahead and put insulating rail joiners in there because that's an electrofrog. I forgot to do that, so I'd have it thrown like that and it would short out. I've tested around a couple things through it before, so this rear track is dead, so one of the things I'm going to try and do tonight is get that third track in, and then the feeders for the track already dropped, but none of the feeders in here are dropped. These turnouts I did go in and go ahead and put the jumpers on them and the screws. I did that for both, but stuff does run through it. So if I get a string of these cars, and this one doesn't derail on me. Look at that. And boom, into the car shop. So, does work. We've used the 050 through here a good bit. I just need to get them powered up so we can test it with the bigger stuff. And this boxcar keeps wanting to pop off. So I don't know whether it's trip pins or lack of weight or what. I'll have to figure that out. I have a hunch it's probably lack of weight. But in any event. And yeah, those two FAs are probably going to be stationed over here as helpers. Except for that one. I got a photo of it in concept with a Jeep 30 and F7 and an RS3, and I'm wanting to kind of try and build that for up here. So I don't know, we'll see. But anyways, that's what's been going on there. Another thing, I don't know if I've mentioned it yet, but we have pushed these feeders past Walnut Hill there, and we've got them through the tunnel right here, and then we pushed it clear up all the way around And I had forgotten that when I originally did all this, the auto reverser was originally under there, and the bus ran the rest of the length. Well, I lucked out, and I had enough length, I could just pull it leftover extra length on this side to hook it into the panel underneath there with the circuit breakers and the auto reverser, and I'd forgotten I'd done that. So this part was already live. This area has been redesignated as a coal mine, so that's how we're going to run it. Eventually, I am going to take one of those tracks out just because that's too much. You know, there's no room for the loading structure or anything. When I do, we'll take all that and do frog wires and jumpers and everything. But for now, the passenger cars do actually run through those Atlas number 4 turnouts, which the first time I saw it honestly shocked me. So, but that's what I've been doing here. The next big project, once I get this wrapped up, is going to be to get the computer power supply squared away so that I can move on to the next step in the master construction plan. And that is going to be accessing the turnout under the mountain there that joins the secondary, which is the track coming out of the tunnel, to the main, which is the one behind it. And it's right under that thing. So right now I can't even stick my head up there. I can move some of the bracing around to where I can't actually get in there. And then he has a rod right here. It's supposed to run that thing, but it got broken somehow in there. He does have a 6-pack of Taurus switch machines. So the plan for that is to go ahead and put one of them in there, and then that will actually be the first signals on this layout as well, because I'm going to get a couple dwarves or something to put a tunnel entrance there, get one for the air side of the backdrop, and one for clear over there by the lift out where it goes into a tunnel to show this position. So they won't be tied in the signal system yet. It's all just going to run to terminal blocks, and we'll wire it into the contacts for the tortoise. So the contacts from the tortoise will go to the terminal block, the wires from the signals will go to a terminal block, and for now everything's just going to be jumpered. And then later, when we actually do get to the signals, we can go ahead and wire it in. So eventually it will be hooked into the signal system, but for now it's just going to be a toggle switch right there and a tortoise run off of a 12-volt power supply. And then the other thing I am going to go ahead and do is take one of my spare key switches, single pole, single throw key switch, and we're going to put it, I'm going to put it right in here somewhere, because I don't want that toggle switch accidentally being bumped up or down, because that's right about foot height and I can totally see it happening. So we're working in here, we're running trains around the big loop, somebody bumps without knowing, the next thing you know there's a train coming here, and we're like, where'd it go? And then, you know, something happens. So I'm going to go ahead and put a key switch right there, single pole, single throw. So the idea is you have to put the key in like this is off, and when you turn it, it's on, and this position actually makes contact like that. And all I'm going to do is you just put it in between upstream of the torus, so the positive and minus 12-volt DC coming in, one of those wires will go through that, and you're just cutting half the circuit. So if you want to line it, the key will be on a little teacup hook here, unlock it, throw it, etc. So yeah, more to come. Alright, another bit of progress we've gotten. We got some more cars that we tested, so all on the back track there, and then I've got some more that I put through the test. So a lot of these, Nolan's already put KD wheels and couplers in, but some of them they've been sitting there a long time. So before we run them, I wanted to go through and reevaluate. So all these have gotten the test, made sure the car is at the right height, the coupler is at the right height, trip pins are at the right height. And then there's some of these out of his whole fleet that were just too light, so they would tip over going around the original layout there. And it's like, okay, wheels are engaged, cars at correct height, couplers at correct height, trip pins at correct height. It's probably the weight. So we've been updating that. A few of these needed it. I think it was that UP right there. I can't remember. A couple of them did, but they roll pretty good. So that's what we've done. And then all those cars that were sitting over there in San Clemente are over there because we are emptying out the yard in preparation for starting the ballast work. So I didn't know what Nolan had as far as ballast, and I was real hoping he didn't have like a bunch of off-brand colors, custom blended, that, you know, it'd be a pain to try and find replacements when we run out of them, if we run out of them. But luckily, all the stuff he has is Woodland Scenics. Some of it is 30 years old going by the packaging, but it's all Woodland Scenics. So he has like 3 of these. This is the medium cinders, but obviously we're going to use that for the yard. He's got a mixed gray color he's already set aside for the main, and then Will and I already went through and we picked out a couple other colors for the sidings, for the secondary main, etc., etc. So in addition to being able to tell trackage apart by the weathering, the idea is that you can also look at it based on the ballast color and know what you're doing. So the plan is to work from here over this way towards the throat. This area here is probably going to stay undone a little while longer. The plan with this building is to go ahead and put a Pico inspection pit on that 3rd track in there. And light it up and everything. So yeah, that's this clip. We'll keep plugging away. So as you might be able to guess from the turnout templates, Rich has been working in here. So this whole area hasn't been touched yet. We do have a concept of what we're going to do back here, but what his plan is to go out there, bring through and get this. This is about where it's going to go. There'll be another turnout here, and then there'll be a second track on the inside going next to that one. So that is the back track. But that he's coming through the next step, and I'm going to take care of this Saturday, is a bunch of the rail joints in through here have all been soldered, so that all needs to be unsoldered. And then you kind of see what he's thinking. These 3 turnouts there, and clear back there are actually going to stay. But what we're going to do is, I don't know if you can see that, but these are number 6s that he's got in there. And 2 are going to go there, so this one will then become the front track. This one will take pretty much the route that there is now, like so. That leg will come into the 6, which will feed this track and this track. And then this back one will just big gradual curve to get to this rearmost. And then right here, we did need to carve away just a little bit. So this track would clear, and this is a 22 radius sectional piece. So that is what that is. One of the things we're going to have to deal with down the road is right now it takes 3 people to lift that. If a car gets derailed under there and there's no other way to access it. So we're going to need to do something to fix that slot car track, and then so we can tilt it up somehow. While we're at that, what I'm wanting to do is get underneath there and readjust a bunch of those tracks, kind of push them together so I can cut an access hole there and access hole clear over there where there's some more room. So we can go from underneath and stick our head up. And then of course somewhere in here is going to be another control panel. It's probably, in all due actuality, going to be under here on this side, under here, because right now you've got the gulch diagram, which that will need to be updated, but at some point this is going to come off, so obviously we have another big long control panel here with controls for all this through here, and then you will probably have another panel over here on this wall with controls for all of this area, and they'll be staggered. So one person will stand down at this end, other person will stand probably about midway, and you might even have a third person because like I've said before, a couple of these tracks are going to have to be redesignated as freight tracks to handle staging to represent Evansville, Indiana. The other tracks will be Gulch, but a couple of the freight tracks will be so we can take cars from the Bartown branch, the topmost level, goes along the top there, and have a place to swap them out, to put them on or take them off of through trains. So you're probably going to have 3 people in this area at once, 2 or 3. So you're probably going to have, because back here people are going to be basically, this is going to be for lack of a better way to do it, or the fact that adding staging below is years down the road and it's going to be a lot of effort. But that aside, so this is, for that reason, this is probably going to be a visibly scenic six-track fiddle yard combined with a 2-track freight yard and whatnot. So whoever's back here, you'll probably have 2 people running this, so they're basically going to be bringing cars out of storage racks here, assembling trains according to the whole kind of timetable and sequence. Also being the yard switch crew for transferring cars, and then of course being the Union Station switcher and being in charge of moving locomotive consists off of the rack, fueling rack there, through there, and then back into here. So some of the controls here are probably going to need to be able to see what's on the other side of that. And then on the other side out there is probably where you'll stand if you're a hostler. I'm trying to minimize people that are standing out there, because you have an area there, but it's probably going to have a few people standing at the old control panels, and right there is really, really narrow. So a couple of the panels, you might have a panel out there, but you're probably going to have a couple of rather large ones all in here, so all on the fascia. So yeah, that'll be rolling stock underneath there. So probably on this side we'll have control panels. So a lot of wiring left. Obviously all this has not been touched, needs to be put on districts and track power, and then of course there's going to be a lot of wiring to do with indicator lights to show you which tracks in the roundhouse are on, whether those 2 engine tracks are on, all that sort of stuff. A lot of extra wire, and then of course all the accessory lighting and the buses coming out from the power supply to run all the building lights. So yeah, a lot of wire, and a lot of work to go into this area. But the big thing we're pushing for now is to get this track done, so we can use the connection from there to there, and that way when we're running trains we don't have to flip the switches in the junction in the back corner over there. So anyways, I had a whole side rabbit trail that I didn't need to, but that's what all Rich has been up to. So yeah, that's this Friday night, and we'll just keep pecking away at her. All right, so thing we did up here today, thanks to Troy for the help. But Rich figured out how he wanted this, so we got everything from that turnout all through here, all those old turnouts pulled up, and they had soldered all the rail joints on them, so we got all that pulled off. I'm letting the soldering iron cool because I'm about to pack up and we'll head back. But all that peeled up, which is awesome. So yeah, more to come. So that's what we did tonight. We got this piece of flex track up. We finished getting all the screen wire in here pulled out for we're going to put the backdrop. Got it sanded down below. We still got up top, so all this old hard shell scenery needs to come out. All the rest of the staples need to come out. Did that, and then Rich started getting this rough fitted in where the switch lead is actually going to tie into the main right there. And then over here, you can see the spot that's still black. That's all ballast that my buddy Aaron helped me put down and I got glued tonight. So it's drying. The yard is just about there. I was going to go underneath and start pulling bus wires for the lighting bus that's going to serve these two floodlight towers and the searchlight tower back in the corner there. Have plenty of black. I didn't have enough yellow, so that is yellow wire is going to go on the electronics order next week because we're also out of terminal blocks and cable clamps. And the other thing that's going to go on the order, which I need, is the toggle, on-off toggle, and the two LED indicators to indicate power on and indicate power standby for the computer power supply, which is going to run all of anything non-track power on the whole layout that needs 3.3, 5, or 12 volts DC is going to be run off of it. And then thank you, David. He helped work on it and got it to where it is here. So as you can see, we got wired up to pairs. We got 3 pairs of yellow, so on and so forth. 3 pairs of orange, 3 pairs of reds. And then all 4 position terminal blocks. The 4th position is a common. We got one that's just common. You can barely see this, but in the back we have green to indicate power on. And we have gray, and I think that's purple for the power on indicator LED and the power standby LED. And then we have the resistor there to simulate a load. And these controls will be actually on the fascia. So I got that in. These are the fuse holders. Obviously I need one more here for red. And then once we get the electronics order in, there'll be 2 position terminal blocks. Here, here, and here, etc. And probably a couple more fuse holders for that. And then obviously the actual lines out going here. So I know I'm going to need 2 5 and 2 12s at least, because basically I'm splitting the layout in half. So pretty much making that the halfway point from there, and then on the secondary side of the bench work all the way around the peninsula, all the way around there, and up on the Bartown branch is going to be a 12 and a 5 volt at least, maybe one 12 and one 5, maybe a 3.3. And then essentially from there down this to the lift out, from there all the way around, all the original layout, the Gulch, Nashville area, all that, and then on the other side of the backdrop, the port and the staging yard, are all going to have their own pair. So that's the plan. That should roughly split the layout up into halves, so a 12 and a 5 volt for each. So I'm going to use at least 2 of these 3 outputs, so on and so forth. I might even use I'll probably end up using all 3, but 2 are, but for each 4 position, 2 run through a fuse block, and then a third and a common don't, and they just go straight out. So that's what we got done tonight. It is late. It's like 12:15, and I'm tired, so I'm gonna head home. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and as always, more to come. So, stuff we got done tonight, this I'm excited about. We got that one powered on. Got that one powered on. You can't hardly see it because I got the room lights. But I'll throw some pictures up after we shut them out. So, did that. We're running stuff through here. Track needs to be cleaned up a little bit. I think I maybe need another pair of feeders while cleaning it up first. Other thing I did was, you guys who like Atlas turnouts, that's great. Rich and I butt heads on this all the time, where you had me do jumpers and do all this stuff. Well, this was all running fine. We get weathered up, and now it's not, and I had to go in and put itty bitty jumpers on all 3 of these. And now they run fine. So, you be the judge, you know? But I'll eventually get this done to the rest of them. But anyways, so we did that. Other thing Will did, this crack right along here, we got to put a first coat of caulk in it all the way, most of the way. So we're going to do that. And the big thing is, once we get this smoothed, we can actually start, so like this side of the main line, we can start doing parking lot and roads and all that fun stuff all the way down through here. So that's kind of what's holding the rest of this scene back. And then this over here, I got to start doing the lighting for the diesel house. So this whole area, the engine terminal area, is kind of hanging off because of that. But so we did that, and then as part of that, I'll show you real quick. I got the yellow and black for that first line run. I got the fuses all put in, the little jumpers. For now, I just did 2 of the 3 12 volt and 2 of the 3 5 volt. Haven't hooked anything up to them yet. Probably won't for a while. And I haven't bothered doing the 3.3 yet. I have a hunch the 3.3 might end up being what I use for that. I don't know. We'll see. But I did that, and then for the tortoise, where the secondary splits off in the back corner, way over there, I went ahead and I got an idea on how to mount it. So I made some more progress with that and got I'll show you that real quick. All 8 of the leads wired up on it. Got that done. I haven't put the throw bar or anything in it yet. And then the next step on the power supply is going to be to run a line from where it is over there all the way over to, and we'll make it nauseous while we're at it, all the way over to right about under there, because the turnout's right about there. Everything I did underneath, I'm not going to show you, but I cut away some excess lumber and moved some stuff and took out some of the paper tunnel lighting that you don't need there. And I do have enough room to stick my head up there. So that's a good thing. And then this hole right there where the old where the pull rod was, I'm going to go ahead and drill that out a little bit, or try to, and that's where I'm going to mount the toggle. So I'll have a couple terminal blocks under there. Did get a little bit of a all electronics order in, some red and black 16 gauge wire for the 12 volt lighting bus, plus some more cable clamps, a lot of more cable clamps, and some terminal blocks. And then about the only other things we've done, some of my personal equipment I've been working on is this is a new one. But the original passenger cars I got when I was a kid added some weight to them. They had the weights inside, but when I add interiors, the Palace Car Company kits, you take the interior weights out. So I wanted to add that down there. But they already ran great. They just seemed a little too light. I'd already converted them to Katie mounts a while ago. So I did that, and then the other thing Rich did, and I'm not going to crawl in there and show you guys because I'm too lazy. I'm just going to zoom. He laid out the ladder for right there. So all those turnouts are going to be a block. We'll have insulated joiners on them for the signaling purposes. But that's what it's going to look like. And they are all, with the exception of I think a couple outlets, they're all Picos. So that's going in. Next thing he's going to do is come, zoom out over here. There is nothing even in this whole stretch right here. So the next thing he's going to do is get it all smoothed out, and they'll be able to come through the wall, come over here and tie in right there. So the nice news is once we do that, we might actually start using this as a staging area for trains. I don't know. But so did that. And then once we do that, it'll be time to punch the holes through the backdrop about where that turnout is. Do the double track that's going to go around. There'll be another number 6 right there. And they'll wrap around. And I'll tie into back there what's going to be a combined Gulch coach yard / Randor yard. Because we will have a couple tracks for freight. And then of course punch through the backdrop on the straight. Get this plywood put in and reconnect to the straight stretch underneath the mountain and pop out there. So yeah, that's what's doing it. All right, guys. So I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the layout update with this. It's been a pretty good hunk of time, but I think I'll go ahead and throw in some photos of the night scene and just show you how it looks with those 2 lights on and overhead lights out. It looks pretty dope. So anyways, as always, thank you guys for watching. Especially thank you for watching since it's been so long between these updates. I meant for it to be sooner. It just, I don't get as many clips as I used to, and by the time I look, it's been 6 months. Yay. But anyways, like I said, thank you guys for watching. Comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Click the like button so the algorithm gets it. You know the drill, people. All right, all. Thanks for watching. Take care. God bless. And yeah, I'll see you on the next update. All right, another little in progress snippet. There is the mole in his molehill. But we got a pretty good hunk of stuff done tonight. Sorry for the cough, guys. I'm getting over the tail end of the cold. But I'll show you this stuff, and then last thing I'll go over there and have Rich kind of explain where he's at with that. So one of the things we've done is Will and Nolan got this all put in and carved. We still got work to do here, like some of these places it needs to be sanded down a pretty good bit, like right there to get flush with the cork. But that cork is down, that's where it's going to go. This track the ties have been painted, haven't done any weathering to the rail yet, but that's kind of a slightly lower priority. So the other thing we've done over here is we are pecking away at the scenery. I got the piece of styrene tubing, which is still out on the piece of wood drying outside. I gotta go get it painted, and what I'm gonna do with that is it's gonna go in the corner right there, and I'll drill a hole in that corner through the styrene and through the plywood, and that's where the line will go through. And then I'll put a couple 0402 lead, so probably 2 on here, 2 on here, and that'll light up the inside of the diesel house. So that's what's going on with that. Other thing is we've been doing some more scenery here in the yard. So we've come back with about 3 or 4 different shades of ground foam, and the whole goal of this was just to make it look a little more weedy and overgrown and kind of beat up. Because again, we're going for that early 70s grungy, lack of maintenance look. So we've done that. It's glued down tonight. It won't be dry for probably another 12 hours, so we won't get to it till next trip up. But the next step we're going to do after this is we're going to come back and start putting static grass and bushes and whatnot in here. And we're going to go ahead and get all this track cleaned so we can actually get some rolling stock back in here. So did that, and then the other thing we did was we got the yard floodlight towers wired up. So they are hooked into the 12 volt. I got a toggle switch on the panel right there to turn them on and off. They look absolutely perfect at night. It's amber glow. It's beautiful. Not up to where you can read the car numbers, unfortunately. But keep in mind we are eventually going to have lighting, some bright white LEDs in the diesel house, plus we're going to have some nice bright lighting all on the station platform, and that's probably going to help with that. And then if you still can't see it, well, we'll have many flashlights that the crews can use, just like the real thing. So we are going to run night ops on here, and that's going to make it a whole lot funner. But so he did that over here. The other thing I've done that I spent most of the night underneath the table, and I'll include some pictures of this instead of crawling underneath there and showing you, but the turnout in the back corner over there where the secondary splits off, the tortoise is in, the wire has been formed, and it's into the tortoise, and the tortoise is mounted, and the wires into the points and all that stuff. So it's ready to hook the leads up to the position terminal block and then get the toggle wired up, and it will be good to go. Eventually I am going to have a couple of plates out here of a local turnout control and some indicator LEDs to show what the position is. Same thing over there on the branch on the other side of that ridge, and then clear over there in staging. And if you're going into the fill yard, which represents the name just went out of my head. Oh geez. Crud. Bowling Green, Kentucky. Thank you, Brian. That represents Bowling Green, Kentucky. The signal head here, one of the signals is going to be red, green, or yellow, and it's going to be controlled by the dispatcher. So that way you'll know whether you can go into the staging yard or not. I'm nearly done with that, and then once I get that area done, the next thing that Will and I are going to do is we're going to come over and start doing block detection for the blocks from that tunnel portal across the lift out all the way around through the junction to there where the CMX car is sitting. And by the way, we finally also got that turnout in. Yay. And get that up so we can start working on ballasting the main. So yeah, let's pop over in the hole there and see what the mole's doing real quick. All right, Rich, give us a update on what you did tonight over here.
So we are kind of massaging the track work here, kind of straightening it out, and also realign the ladder that fed this. This originally had right hand turnouts in here that brought the track up against this wall and out to this way. So made center lines, so lined all the tracks so they're now straight. Actually moved this track over to the platform, and then with a couple of number 5 Picos here, redid the ladder. So now every track into the train shed is now on a 24-inch radius. Whereas before they were down to 18-inch radius on some of them.
So once we get that hooked up, I'm looking forward to running passenger trains through there because that's going to look smooth.
And we did a compound ladder. Okay. Whereas the old one, it was just kind of funky.
Yeah, it was really funky. Funky. It was like Looney Tunes funky.
So that's also going to allow us to realign this end just a little bit and give us some more space here. So again, we took out the number 4s that were here, and these are actually number 5s.
So yeah, we're going up.
So they actually line up quite nicely. Get that all set up and it's ready to go.
So did you... Okay, yeah, you just got that pinned in place. You haven't actually put it down yet. So the next step in here, you're telling me it's all leveling everything out, and then you can actually like...
Well, this track here is sitting on 2 different levels because the foam is at different heights here. This is why you got all these cork shims here, and that's why you got cardboard over here. So at some point, I need to probably fix this up so it's all uniform on that track. The rest of them are kind of okay. They set right up straight on the foam, so it's not as bad. But this one is kind of like right over the divide there. So
yeah, shimmy it and tack it, and then it's going to be time to punch a couple holes in the retaining wall.
Retaining wall?
Yeah, retaining wall. You know, that stuff.
The stonework.
The stonework, yeah. The ridiculously oversized stonework. But yes, so that's more or less the general order of things. But so yeah. Alright, I'll throw in some clips of the yard with the lights out and the floodlights on, as well as some pictures of what I've got done underneath the layout. So have a look at those, and more to come.